Hey guys, in this video we're going to be going over what I think are the easiest twisty puzzles that you can get on the market, and I'd say these are definitely the easiest ones that I found in my collection. So let's get into it with starting off with number 5, the Ivy Cube. The Ivy Cube is made by QiYi and it's a very simple puzzle. The Ivy Cube is ranked number 5 because it's probably the hardest one of the ones that you'll see in this video, but it's actually pretty easy and it only really requires one algorithm. And if you have some experience with cubing, you can probably figure that algorithm out on your own. So I'm just going to do a quick example solve on this for you. So we're going to create the white layer just to show you how easy this puzzle really is. We're just going to finish the top layer. It's literally just 2 moves and it's done. And now we just have to solve these leaves or the centers, I guess you could call them. So we're going to do that by turning some of these pieces around like this. Blue and red are solid. Now we just have to do the last 3 petals, I guess. So there we go. It's a really easy puzzle to solve and it's very easy to intuitively understand what is going on with the cube and the pieces that are moving around them. That was the Ivy Cube. There are a lot of similar cubes to this where they require one algorithm to solve and the rest of the cube is very intuitive. But I just decided to go with the Ivy Cube for our 5th place because it looks pretty cool. It's got a cool name and it's just an interesting looking cube overall. So the number 4 easiest cube that we have is the Dino Cube. Now this is a classic puzzle that has been around the cubing community for a very long time. And there have been a lot of different manufacturers that have attempted to make these. The one that I have is made by MF8 and the build quality is not very good, but it gets the job done and there are a lot better ones out there. Now when comparing this to the Ivy Cube, it does look a little bit more complicated because it seems like there are more colors and it has a more intense scrambled state. I just went with this as number 4 because it's got a little bit of an easier to understand way of how the pieces are moving around the cube, whereas with the Ivy Cube you've got one layer that's a little bit larger than the other layer, if that makes sense. Alright, so let's quickly solve this so I can show you how easy the Dino Cube really is. Okay, first layer is finally done. That took a lot longer than it was supposed to. Trust me, this is a really easy cube. Second layer is almost done. We've got our blue and orange edge. Something looks off. Okay, this one's done. Alright, so that was really easy. Like these 4 edges are just 1 move inserts, and then finally the last layer is basically just 1 algorithm, which I messed up. There we go. Alright, so the last layer is always 1 or 2 algorithms, and it's the same algorithm, the R prime F R F prime algorithm, the sledgehammer. So it's very simple. It's very similar to the Ivy Cube. They're pretty much at the same level, but I think just to understand how the pieces are moving around this cube, it makes it a little bit easier to understand. Alright, getting into number 3, we have the QiYi Super Floppy Cube. If you don't know what a Super Floppy Cube is, it's a 3x3x1, and there are 2 different types. There's a regular, just floppy cube, and then there's a Super Floppy Cube. The difference is that in a Super Floppy Cube, you can actually shapeshift it, which is pretty cool. Whereas in a floppy cube, you can only do like R2 moves like this, essentially. But yeah, it's pretty cool. You can make some interesting looking shapes with this. But let's go ahead and try and attempt to solve this now that it looks decently scrambled. So now that I've basically brought it back to a cube shape, I guess, or a floppy shape. Okay, now we have the cross. We just have to do the corners. So yeah, if you haven't noticed, this is basically like 1 layer of a 3x3, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we're almost done here. Just gonna have to misalign this, and so we can realign that layer. All right, cool, done. The build quality of this cube is pretty nice. It feels very nice to play with, I guess, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna fall apart. So there it is, the QiYi Super Floppy Cube, the 3rd easiest puzzle on this list. And now moving on to the 2nd easiest puzzle, we've got the QiYi 1x2x3. So it's got a very similar build quality. It's got these nice tiles, but we don't really care about that in this video. We're just going to scramble this and see how easy it is to solve. So this puzzle is actually really great for non-cubers or younger kids who are interested in cubing, but they're just a little bit too young to understand how to solve it. I know that's happened with a lot of my cousins. They've always been, okay, I'm trying to scramble this and I accidentally just solved it. So you can see how easy this one is because it's almost hard to actually scramble it. Alright, that looks decently scrambled. Let's try and solve this. Okay, interesting. It's just I just have this one piece flipped. And there it is, done. Like, it's a very intuitive puzzle to play with. You can kind of just move it around and understand how the pieces are moving. So it's great for people that want to get into learning how to solve more twisty puzzles, but maybe a 3x3 is just a little bit too difficult. I know that's happened with a lot of my younger cousins, so these are great for people like that. This is also great for people that aren't really interested in twisty puzzles, but they just want to have a cool toy at their desk or whatever to fidget with and solve. So yeah, that's the QiYi 1x2x3. Okay, so here it is, number 1 on the list, the absolute easiest puzzle that I could find that wasn't a 1x1, because that's not really a puzzle, or a 1x1x2. But this is the Z Cube 1x2x2. So here it is. It's got these really vibrant looking stickers. It's in some white plastic, but let's scramble this. Like, this cube is actually hard to scramble because look, it just solves itself. You can't even scramble it. Literally, this is as scrambled as it can get. Yeah, because that's it. That's it. That's just as scrambled as it can get. This is the checkerboard pattern essentially, but yeah, that was what, 3 moves and I just solved it. So now that I think about it, this isn't really even a puzzle. You kind of just play around with it and it just solves itself. You could just be like just doing stuff with it and it solves. But I mean, this is still a great puzzle for non-cubers or beginners. Like I said with the 1x2x3, this is great for people that aren't really that interested in cubing, but they just want to play with something, or they want to get into cubing, but maybe a 3x3 is a little bit too difficult for them to start off with. So this is kind of just something to get started with that's just fun and cool to play with. Alright guys, so that was it for my really easy to solve puzzles list. Like I said, some of these are great for people that are already familiar with cubing and kind of know the concepts, like for example these 2 cubes that are a little bit more complicated, but they're still easy when you look at it from the perspective of someone who can already cube, whereas these puzzles are really easy for people who've never even touched a cube before. You kind of just play around with it and it's really cool. And then this one is a little bit in the middle. So actually I'd say these 2 are probably my favorite in this list just because of the build quality. They just feel really nice to play with. But anyway, that was it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.